Okay. I think we should be live right now. Let me check real quick. I think everything should be fine. Yes. Everything. Yes. Beautiful. Okay, let me start by sharing the stream onto the Discord. And let me post the stream on X. Okay, one more stop and that's gonna be on X, and then let's get into some analysis. Gonna start at Bitcoin right here. What has been happening at Bitcoin? We'll check it out in a bit. There we go. You know, it's Sunday. It's gonna be a chill little stream. I am gonna go pre-plan my trading week. So to be honest, I want to go over all of these crypto coins right here, because these coins are what I trade the most. I'm gonna delete this one now, because these are just the highest volume coins, and I believe if there's more volume, there's also more to manipulate for in order to move price, so you can see it more clearly on the chart itself. So we're gonna pre-plan our trading week. We're gonna find a bias for the week. We're gonna sketch in some scenarios, some possible trade scenarios. We might even be able to take a trade today while this live stream is going up, because who knows what the market has to offer today. All right, let's get into it. I'm ready. Bitcoins, we still came from this accumulation right here where we kept taking out our lows, people filling up orders here, and we've got that massive expansion towards the upside. While the same thing, the order filling that happened at the bottom here, it's kind of scary to see this at the top, because of course it could be a distribution in the making. What do I mean with a distribution? I mean that market makers are either selling their positions, of course, selling their long positions that they have scaled in here, or of course over here, and filling up their short orders to then of course push price towards the downside. So what has happened? Big liquidity hunt here, while also leaving bunch of liquidity, attracting sellers into the market, makes it interesting to take them out and then release price and get that expansion towards the downside. Well, now I do see a bit of liquidity forming here. but it's nowhere near the liquidity that we have built here. After we had a higher low and a new higher high, we have made new lower lows. What's expectation order flow doing? Trying to make a lower high for new lows. We absolutely have did that. We tested the most aggressive way we can, and that is in our breaker, the part that was supposed to bring us towards new highs. We flipped it, and then it's going to offer us resistance, and that's when you can start trading in the desired direction, which was at the time towards all of this liquidity that we have built. Okay, let's go on a bit more higher time frame. I'm curious about that. Okay, I was gonna see if this is one move, and on the highest time frame, you could argue it is not, but this move made a new high. Then we created a valid pullback, testing our previous structure, and then making a new high again. So we have to hold here the part that brought us up to new highs, and if we do not start to hold price here, then I think we can expect price to move towards this area right here, which is around 100k. And we can definitely check it on the local picture, because if we are going, of course this is demand right now and it can offer support for more upside, but if we start to lose this level, then it's also going to offer us resistance, and we are going to move towards this part. Now this is very interesting. And why is this part very interesting? Like I said, we had this manipulation each time taking out the low. Well, what is our core of basically this whole move up? When price swept that much liquidity of the lows, it created a high. Our first hold, our trend was down right here, and we tried to make a new, let me zoom in a bit more, makes it easier to draw it in. This was our trend. So what were we expecting? We were expecting new lower highs for new lower lows, which we have absolutely tried right here. But this is also a really strong demand, because you lured in buyers first, took them out, and then we started trading towards the upside. So this is our first hold while we were still in this downtrend that caused us to break structure and making this change of character. So this is the very first time the buyer stepped into the market to push price up. And that is very interesting. So you're definitely gonna see a reaction from this level, because it was never tested back before. So I do think if we lose this level right here, then we are gonna go towards that 100k mark in this demand right here on Bitcoin. So we already have a few scenarios pointed out. That is one, losing this one, trading towards the downside. Then price touching here. See if we can create a bounce to trade towards the upside. Right now we still are a bit bearish, and that is because we couldn't reclaim this level right here. And that's really unfortunate, because if we wanted to be strong, then after sweeping that, we would need to reclaim that low in order to really expect more upside. We did not do that. We broke below it again. I do want to draw on this, because this could be our range right now. I mean, this is our range right now. extend our range because we have our first deviation. And now let's actually check if we have gained this all low in order to create more upside, and we have done that. We do have to remember this is our last pullback before we created new lows. So we will basically never get a rotation back upwards towards these levels if we cannot start to gain this price right here. Then we also need to talk about how price traded up here. I like what we did here. We kept sweeping our lows and then we traded aggressively. We traded aggressively above this high and we kept uptrending from there. But what I do not like is this right here. Building up liquidity. You do not want to leave this liquidity behind if we want to start trading more towards the upside. Then the same thing on the higher time frame, where this zone is coming from. You have the same thing on the lower time frame right here. I'm on the 50-minute right now. Let's go to the 5. After we have swept all this liquidity off these lows, what we did here is push up. We had that retracement, and this is our first hold in the up move after sweeping bunch of liquidity. And if we start to leave open our lows, we need liquidity from the highs. And this part was never tested back, even though this part is what caused us to break this structure right here. And you could argue this is a little bit of price action on itself, and then we had the shoot up, and most of the time when you have this shoot up, it was the purpose just to manipulate and now go towards this liquidity. So I do not want to look for longs while having all of this liquidity here, also this point of interest down here. So where could we actually reject from? It's the supply zone here. Why is this a supply zone? Because if you look at market structure terms, this is the higher low that brought us towards a higher high. Then this was supposed to bring us higher, but it failed doing so. Why? Because sellers stepped in here and pushed price bearish. So this is your low time frame change of character. And now after making new lows, we could try and see if this trend right here is now going to be respected. Make that lower high for new lower lows. So this would be definitely point of interest. Bit of ugly PA. We tested this now. Broke structure here as well. Tested it back. See if we just start to continue this trend downwards, or if this is just luring in sellers into the market to then take them out one more time, and then we can start to see the trend switch and release towards all of this liquidity that has been building up for us. So locally I would look for something like this, 100%. Let me check something real quick. Grab a quick drink here. Okay. Now let's continue on Bitcoin, because we have these scenarios pointed out. These would be your local scalp scenarios. There's nothing else to search for here. We do get a sweep of this liquidity. I am still down to trade this upwards. Even though you're gonna lose this all low, you still have a chance to recover from here and then really get that aggressive move up. Most of the time on a Sunday, the market is preparing itself for the next week. So you have a direction to go basically. High time frame, it's all looking downtrend wise still. No strength came from here yet, but on the higher time frame, of course, we have been trading down for how long now? A fat 2 weeks. So expecting some relief is not a bad thing to think about. Definitely a possible scenario. Okay. Let's look away from Bitcoin. Ethereum. Yeah, we had absolutely nailed Ethereum. Alright, Ethereum. What has been happening on Ethereum? In previous live streams and when I have explained Ethereum to other people, the thing I was looking at was the following. Before you reach all-time high here, you lured in a lot of sellers, while also trading below a bit of structure, you could say. So what happened from there is we had this crazy up move. I think this was because of some news. And we've swept the all-time high. After we swept the all-time high, one more sell move, luring in more sellers, sweeping the all-time high one more, and from there we have been trending down. This could be a macro high. It could be. Our structure is looking like this right now. We've made new lower lows, so expect to see still a lower high for new lows. We are in support here though, and this is a liquidity hunt. So what we can do did look at the short scenario here. Talked about that in Discord. Went great as well. Just remove this. Aminu, W on ETH scalp yesterday. Damn man. If you could share your trade in the Discord, if you want, I can look at it on the live stream here. If you want me to do so, at least. I could give you some feedback. You have always been in my streams, you're active in the Discord, you're putting in the effort, so I'm willing to put in effort for you as well. So what could be happening here on Ethereum is this. Well, we have this range. Of course, we rejected and we expected a new low, which has been created. We're still at support. You could argue this is a liquidity hunt. And after we've created this nice bottom, we have this more high time frame change of character. Let's extend our range towards the new low. And after this change of character, what is our expectational order flow? Between this low and this high, we can now expect a higher low for another higher high. It can either be all the way over here, it can be all the way over here. It could have been as aggressive as this. But we snagged this liquidity and then we started trading up from there. So if we look at the lower time frame, did we actually have a possible setup here? Ooh, this is literally really interesting what is happening. Okay, be prepared for this, because this is all not coincidence, alright? What I'm about to tell you. Do you see this little pullback right here? This is your last, yes, we're on the 1 minute, your last pullback that brought you all the way towards this liquidity sweep right here. So on the 1 minute as well, if you break that, this would pretty much be your first direction for upside. So this would be your supply. What happens when you break a supply? It becomes your breaker. And this was the part that brought you to new lows. So that's also relevant to test back. And look at that test back. That's absolutely crazy. And also this PA, it's just beautiful. Because after this test, sure, if we get a change of character or something, we can look for upside. This is what brought us towards new highs. So this is your change of character. This brought you to new lows. From here on, we went to new highs. Of course, this is the pullback that caused it, but your origin came from over here. So that makes this a good liquidity point. And what do I always say when price is trending down like this? We are building up liquidity on the highs until we have grabbed enough liquidity on the lows to then start reversing towards the liquidity that we have all just built up. And that's exactly what happened here as well. Also with this high time frame trend, your expectancy of new highs. With this local trend, with your expectancy of new highs, and we've tested something beautiful back, and which we got a nice reaction from. So what would be your local confirmations right here? After the sweep of this extreme liquidity, I must say, if you scalp this, you could have gotten stopped out. Because if you did play this breaker and you expected us to not grab any more liquidity right here, this would be your play right here. But then again, the stop loss happens. Then when you sweep this, that's when it's gonna become interesting. Because the expectancy here that you've grabbed your stop loss with this trade, it becomes luring in buyers. When most of the people have been stopped out, that's when they most likely are gonna move the way they want to. And that is of course up, as we can see. So even when you take a stop loss and your bias is still intact because we're leaving open this swing towards the upside here, that's when you really want to look for longs. And when we start to leave open our lows and take out our highs, and we have no reason to take out those lows again, you just want to be in that trade. You have an invalidation, and that's pretty much all you need to have here. Maybe I would have entered on this fair value gap, just because it has been respected so well. Don't use fair value gaps that much in crypto, but when you have an invalidation, when you have targets, you just need to search for the right entry. So this would be your local time for trade. Unfortunately, it was at midnight, but what's your expectancy? Trade towards new highs. 6 risk to reward. I would sign for that all day, every day. What can we expect from Ethereum next? Put this in the object tree. So what is your expectancy now? It's really simple. We're just continuing with what we left off. We've created a higher high, a higher low, now a higher high. What can we expect next? Another higher low for another higher high. This would be your swing demand, and this would be internally your pullback that we have gained. This is more refined. What I personally love to do is just remove your swing structure and and just use this one. Most of the time this one gets tested back, and I just do not want like a big zone in my chart, because you need to keep your charts clean to see everything, okay? So this would be a high time frame scenario for ETH to come back to. What if it never gets back to that? Well, where did this resistance come from? Most likely from here. So do we have some sort of supply that formed here? Because this did bring us towards new lows. It's pretty much this whole up move. This was supposed to bring you towards new highs, but it failed doing so. So sellers stepped in, brought you to new lows. Let's see if this aligns. It does align very well with this high as well. So we could even find support here and then move up. So what I'm gonna do is this. I want to make it a little bit smaller though, because I do not like these big zones on my chart. Just a little bit smaller. Okay, possible point of interest. This was a supply zone that had been tested that brought us to new lows, and there is just liquidity above. Most of the time when that happens, we're just gonna get a squeeze up grabbing this liquidity, like we actually are doing right here. We took out this high right here. So what did we have to do to take out the low? Of course, it's a liquidity hunt. Do have a valid range. Rawi, cage on a Sunday. Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, we are grinding, right? And I'm not gonna stop grinding. We need to take the money out of the market, so that's what I'm here to do. There are things that are catching my eye right now. And that is the way we came down and the way we came up. The way we came up is not a strong sign, okay? And that is because if you're starting to leave open these lows, where is your market maker involvement towards the upside? There is none. So are we gonna leave this behind before we make new highs? I do absolutely not think so, alright? This is just here to be taken out, and I am expecting that trend to be taken out. Now, why are we starting to see some rejection right here? That is because we have actually swept our extreme liquidity. If we look at the lower time frame, this is a high, a higher low that brought us towards new highs. It's not a clear new high, but it did bring us to a new high, even though it was with a wick. Then we broke that structure. We've made a lower low. What is your expectancy after a lower low? That is a lower high for new lows. So this was your first pullback before you started trading down towards all the way these new lows. That's what we have taken out right here. And ooh, I think I've already missed a little scalp, but we'll see in a bit. Let me check where the volume is at. I don't think it's that relevant right now because our price has been moving here, just building up liquidity, building up liquidity. It is down here. That's most likely because of this compression. Alright, what happened after we took this extreme liquidity out? Remove this. It's in the way. You did take out something relevant here. So, do we still have a reason to come above this high? Yes, of course, you still have this trend liquidity, but you also have a reason to not to, because this high took out a good bit of liquidity, and from here on you could leave open your high, start trading towards your lows, because this high is also what brought us towards a new low, even though it's a liquidity hunt. But the way we are building up here, it does make sense as well to make a lower high here for new lower lows. Okay, so what is happening at this local part? The 50-minute, you can see it's a bit messy. The market is indecisive because you're damn, these body closes are really weird though. You don't see this a lot, where there's 5 50-minute candles that has been closing like this. So the market is a bit undecisive. But local time frame will tell us what is happening here. Because when we start looking at this local time frame, and we could argue that this is now protected and we could start to leave open these highs to trade towards all of these lows. If we start drawing in our market structure, we have made a high, a higher low, a higher high that swept that liquidity. What is the cause of us sweeping this? It's this pullback right here. So what happens when we lose that pullback? You make a change of character. This is the candle that swept it. Also, we've made an imbalance after that candle, so that signals strength. So this would be your 1 minute supply here, and we actually got a reaction from it, because after we've made a lower low, what can we expect next? And I am saying this a lot, but market structure is literally the basics of trading itself, and it's the foundation to build your strategies on, and it's just simply and identifying your order flow. So we've made that lower high and new lower lows. Then this is a bit scary, because you are at the 0.5 line. We got a reaction from it, and we have taken out this grind up. So do I want to take shorts here? Sure, but keep in mind, your quickest way of rejecting was right here. We failed doing so, we actually flipped it. So we could still see one more sweep, while this all being luring in sellers into the market, aggressively sweeping that, because what I'm seeing here, sweeping this liquidity, making this change of character, other people are seeing it as well. And that makes it interesting for the people for the market makers to sweep that one more time, and from there actually get that fast reversal. The big moves always happens when the masses have been stopped out. Let's see if we can start trading up like this. And if you were in this play on the supply zone, which is definitely realistic, then you would already have first de-risked your position or already have taken some profits. Why? Your 0.5 line off this whole range is right there. And you could see this as one little grind up. So your technical target of this distribution would be this low. So you either have your stop loss here, your stop loss break even, or you've taken profits with your stop loss being here. Means your position is risk free. If you are going to be stopped out, doesn't matter that much, because the trade would end up on break even. So we were a bit too late with analyzing ETH to make use of this one. And right now, because of this weak break, this liquidity hunt on the 0.5, for really to look for a play, I would want this to be swept one more time and then making the change of character one more time to really start moving in your desired direction. Okay? Would your technical target be? Let's look at it. This is tested. This breaker is tested. This is not really price action. I'm already on the 1 minute. It's just this whole pullback, and that was tested. Yeah, I would just be targeting your extreme liquidity because there's no demand left. Let's check on the higher time frames. Even this 50-minute candle with a little imbalance above it has been tested. Yeah, you could argue right here, for sure. And if I remember correctly, this was also where all your volume was laying around. Yes, sir. So then your next target would be here. Unfortunately, I analyzed Bitcoin first before actually analyzing ETH, because this would have been a play in my book. Opening and closing below our level, still leaving open our draw on liquidity. Well, this move taking out your extreme liquidity, it's beautiful. Damn, I've already been live streaming 40 minutes and I've pretty much only looked at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Maybe I'm gonna put the value I'm spitting out a bit to a more basic level here. And then I can go through these coins quicker. ADA. Aminu had a request in the Discord about ADA, so I sketched in a few scenarios for him. And what I was saying is that we made these equal highs. Most of the time when you front ran this big of liquidity, you are gonna build up that last liquidity to then move towards it. And then we could also still reject from there and move like towards here. Possibilities are there because you also have these equals here. Need to leave. That's fine, brother. Rawi, good luck, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And I'll see you in the next ones, okay? If there's anyone in the stream right now that hasn't liked the stream, hasn't subscribed to me, make sure you definitely do. We want this information to get pushed out to other people. We want other people to stop trading those retail patterns. We want to let them trade with pure price action because that is what works the best. And of course, everyone has a profitable strategy, at least the people that make money in this market and prove that they have a profitable strategy can either be the most simplest one there is, but if they are making money with it because they have good risk management, then respect to them, right? But I do feel like the way I trade is literally pure price action. It's all about the buyers and sellers, what is happening mentally in their heads. And I think this could be the most profitable strategy there's out there, and we are gonna see that in the future, of course. And then you think, how are we gonna see that? Well, then I would advise you to absolutely join the Discord. And let me start by sharing the Discord, because that's where we are posting possible trade scenarios. That's where we are posting our scalps, our trades that we are taking. Pin this message. So definitely make sure you are ready for that. There's also free education in the Discord itself. Let me show you real quick. We are working on the free education. There's a private video. You can only access this video if you are in the Discord, on market structure, supply and demand. There's still liquidity coming and range trading. This is definitely a range. Okay, the first 40 minutes I've literally explained everything I've done. It's literally a masterclass of explaining price action. So I am gonna go tune that a little bit down. I'm gonna do my thing on the charts. I'm gonna draw. And if you really want to know more about the way I do draw things in, the way the market does work for me, then you would need to come out of your comfort zone and send a message in the chat, okay? Range with beautiful manipulation on the bottom, or these could be some market maker buy signals. Beautifully held our first low here. We can see price traded up, held, pushed up. So if we do start to hold this level right here, and do something like this, I think we could trade towards here, and from there we could still turn around. But our technical target would be, if we held here, started trading up again, our technical target would be all the way up here, which is the range high. Let's zoom in a little what is happening on the local time frame. Nothing that much. This was just to retest this part here. Your support resistance. Your 0.5 line in your range, which is no coincidence. Let me check where all the volume in this market is at. It's also other beautiful point of interest right here. It's always great to see. I also want to draw in another scenario. Oh man, this song, need to skip it. It's what you have with no copyright music. Bit of random music all over the place. This shows extreme liquidity on the higher time frame. So we do not only have this scenario, we also have this one. And we did actually test our point of interest here. We are against resistance, of course, but maybe if we manage to break this here, we could trade more upwards. Even though I do not like this, I do not like the momentum of the market, because on Bitcoin you have made this lower high as well, traded towards new lows, and we could still sweep all of this liquidity. That means I wouldn't really be interested in taking longs on ADA, because if those scenarios on Bitcoin and Ethereum play out, ADA would be over here. So watch out for those things as well. How's the ETH short going? Beautifully. Beautiful PA. If there are any questions or chart requests, even stocks, the title says crypto, but I can do Nasdaq, I can do stocks, I can do Forex. So let me know if you have a chart request. I'm happy to pick that up for you. I do have one request though. That is to like the stream. If you do like the stream, then I am able to take your chart request into place. Because if more people like the stream, this content will get pushed out to more people, and more people would be able to understand price action trading, which is a big goal of mine. Because I hate to see some people trading the way they do, RSI, MMA lines, or EMA lines, excuse me, and all those things. I don't like it. It's not my style. And I want to clarify those things to them. ADA rejected her old low, making new lows. Zeldish Trim. Sin, welcome to the stream, brother. Take a look at Pepe. Will do. It was next up in the list, so that's beautiful. First, haven't looked a bit at Pepe, so I'm gonna look at the 3-day. Okay. Looking at the 3-day. Of course, massive rejection from this level. Just gonna draw in a few high time frame lines, then I'm really gonna get into some specifics and also this local picture. The thing is, when you have a trend going up like this and you have this massive expansion, you want to see strength. So you want to see price hold here like it tried to then make new highs, or hold here, because this is the last pullback before we created new highs right here. So that would be relevant to hold and push up, but we failed doing so. We actually had to sweep a bunch of liquidity here, and that's when we actually started trading towards new highs. What catches my eye is leaving open this liquidity. This is not how you leave open highs. So to be honest, I am still expecting that to be taken out, and then we could still, of course, reject there and move lower. But looking at the way this is being built up, we could still take that out. But you could argue the same about the lows. but that's just when market structure comes into play, because when we do zoom in here, we can draw in our market structure. Beautiful level here. Why is this a beautiful level? This brought us towards new lows and we kept rejecting it the whole time. When we flip it, it becomes a breaker, and that's where you are holding support on. Of course, in combination with this breaker, we have this pullback before getting that expansion up. I wouldn't clarify this is valid structure because we have not opened and closed above that high, so this is just a liquidity hunt. Also arguable that market makers were involved in pushing price down, because we have this 3-tap model. This is how you do create swing highs. And in combination with this demand, you have that breaker. So beautiful point of interest to look for longs. But I do see a dead cat low is what I like to call it. You can call it the dead low. It's when price pushes down, comes up, and just starting creating higher lows. Where is your market maker involvement in this move up? There's none. So if this is what pushed you towards new lows and we've grabbed the liquidity from that high, what is my drawn liquidity right now? I think we're gonna move towards this low right here. Even though we are holding support, liquidity wise, it's looking like we need to take out these lows. And when we do take out these lows, that's when we could expect a reaction up and trade towards the upside, towards the liquidity that we're building. You know what I always say? When we are building liquidity on the highs, then we have to take liquidity from the lows. And if we have done that, then we're gonna move towards the liquidity that we have all just built up. So all in all, even though we are at support here, my bias is bearish on Pepe high time frame. We haven't gotten any confluences yet for upside, except the one I'm about to tell you. Because what we could have here is luring in buyers into the market, taking them out. We are wicking the lows, could indicate possible upside. So when we do draw in the range, I'm gonna come into your question in a bit, Aminu. Let me just finish up Pepe, then I'll take a look at Bitcoin again and answer your question. We have this range low, we have the range high, and we've deviated our low, which could mean possible market makers could be stepping in here to push price up towards our other side of liquidity. 1 hour. Extend our range. And once again, this is not how you leave tops behind, right? If market makers are willing to push price down a lot, you can expect them to take all of the people out that have been shorting here, okay, to then fill up their own orders and push the price in the desired direction. What is catching my eye is we are leaving open beautiful lower highs right now, which makes it a beautiful return to zone. So if we manage to hold between here, we possibly could see a local rotation towards these highs, and then our technical target is hit. You could still come all the way down. So where are those points of interest going to be? Let's check it out. equal lows. This is tested, this is tested. It's pretty much tested away. But because we do have equal lows there, do have this block laying around, this is also your first push up, your hold, then your expansion towards the upside. That also makes this another good liquidity point. So we are seeing multiple scenarios for possible longs right now. Could sweep the extreme liquidity, get a change of character, could just do it over here. And I don't preset my trades here because you don't know how price will react to your levels. That's why I'm waiting for price to locally trend down in your point of interest and then wait for that strength to come. And if that strength does come, then your story, or at least my story that I've been telling here, could be correct and you could trade towards the part that you want to trade to. Structure low, created new highs, so we could even hold here, especially with this liquidity hunt. We've also left open our pullback. This brought us to new lows. We created a new higher high. This is what tested the most aggressive way and pushed us up to this break right here. So we could argue that we could set a higher low here for new higher highs. Even though this is looking more bearish. As I said, we have reasons to look for possible upside. And this, it's also interesting, right? Also combining with our level right there. That is great. Okay, it's not starting to look too bad. Yeah, 50-minute definitely. Yeah, this is your POI. Oh my, crazy equals. Yeah, this is just a great POI. Start the trend down, get your change of character, and you could have yourself a play towards these equal lows, equal highs here, and possibly these highs. But like I said, you need to wait for confirmations, but you still have point of interests down here. One last scenario I want to draw in. I want to know, is there a reason to go below this low again? That's when we have to look to the left. There is actually. There we go. We were rejecting here. This is also rejection, not a convincing break until we put out this low, then we started breaking. So this is definitely a relevant bit to test back. So even a scenario is that we are just going to build up liquidity, take out the low I've just marked out, and then move up. This would also complete your liquidity schematic. There we go. This scenario happens, then you can expect a lot of aggression. My man, Zeldra Sin. This was literally my analysis on Pepe. A lot of scenarios you have to sketch in, but of course, I'm a trader, so you need to sketch in multiple scenarios so you don't get surprised by what the market is doing. Shorting wouldn't do here. Only short scenarios up here. Alright, Aminu. I'm waiting for the video on liquidity. I really need to understand drawn liquidity. Yeah, man, that You know, it's a tough video to make because if I'm talking about liquidity, I can literally make a video of hours of it. But then again, I don't want to give away all my value in just one basic free education video. I haven't started making the video yet, but maybe I will start either today or else next week. The video is definitely gonna come out, man. I am just busy in life, so you know, trying to do it as fast as possible for all of you. Okay. Zeldris, by the way, if you have any other views of Pepe or something you do agree with or you don't agree with, then definitely let me know, man. Aminu, on the Bitcoin analysis. Let's go to Bitcoin. Waiting for the you mentioned 110400. Let's see. Yeah. As a supply area, is it a good POI for shorts? It absolutely is. And you know why? That is because if you start drawing in your structure, because you need to know where is this zone coming from. Is it relevant? Is it gonna give us some strength towards the downside? So let's take a look. This was supposed to bring you towards new highs. It failed doing so, so it flipped. Then we tested our most aggressive way and brought us all the way down here towards new lows. All right. So that means if you never manage to gain this price action, which also aligns with a really good support resistance point, as you can see, interaction, 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 flipped it, interaction, went below it, interaction. Wicks do the damage, bodies tell the story. And of course I'm drawing in an aerial, but it's basically a box like this. It always is. So yes, this is definitely relevant because look at the rejection that came from here and brought us all the way towards new lows. So what would I draw in? We have a high. This was supposed to bring you towards new highs. It failed doing so. So in this move, sellers stepped in and pushed price towards new lows. And yes, you can draw your supply towards this wick, but we actively traded here. So I want to see the rejection coming from this part, also aligning with this support and resistance block. And if you do manage to gain this, then I am expecting us to take out the wick. So yes, this is definitely a point of interest for shorts, but we need to watch out how this bottom is going to create, because if we are going to do this, then we are trading up really aggressively with our high time frame bringing up to new highs. Never tested it here, so could be luring in more buyers, so we could scale in more orders right here to then push up. So your high time frame is not really the way to short here. I would short if you start to lose this. Clearly closest below, and then we can see if we can short there. S-Prod, yo, how's it going, man? Good to see the live after a long time. Yo, welcome to the stream, brother. I know you were always in the live streams. It's good to have you here, man. How have you been doing? How's the trading been going? For me, I've recently just started uploading again, around a week, 2 weeks, but I've been actively building a community. When I was away, I've been getting results, okay? I've passed my funded accounts. I've gotten payouts on funded accounts. So, you know, we're moving upwards. And that's also why I'm working on this community. I'll show you real quick. I think you were in this one, right? And if you're not, then you definitely should join. The link is pinned in the comment section. We have free basic education, and of course a lot of people that want to interact with traders as well. Traders like me, like the chartsmith. We can spar with each other about certain setups, etc, etc. It will only bring you to a new level. There's literally no reason you should not join a free Discord, right? Because who knows what kind of information you can gain from it. Let's check our Ethereum trades. Hit our technical target. I've been good, trading going well. Absolutely amazing, man. Absolutely amazing. If you have any highlights you want to share? Congrats on the funded account. Yeah, thank you, brother. It's just rinsing and repeating right now. We've gotten a payout as well, so just spamming those funded accounts. Want to get more into the trading world. That's why I'm starting. I'm uploading again. And I'm also building this Discord community because there's just a lot of value I can give out to other people, help other people. And for now, we're in the early stages of the Discord, so I am gonna give out a lot of value in the beginning, of course, but that will change in the future. Because, well, 4 or 5 years of experience in trading, working my ass off, isn't all just gonna be given away for free. I am gonna ask for value exchange for that in the future. For now, Ethereum, I just wanted to move down. This is where you could expect that support because of all the volume is here. So maybe we could see a little pullback. But if we never start to manage to gain this right here, then we'll just start moving down. Awesome, that's great. It definitely is. And are you in the Discord yet? Because if you're not, then you should join, man. We could spar about some charts. Let's see. Let's see when two smart brains come together what we can produce, right? I'll get in the Discord soon. Take your time, man. Do whatever you need to do. Man, Solana is too scary. I think we're gonna get a massive short on Solana. Remove all of this. Because look at the way we're coming up. We're just SFPing our highs, SFPing our highs, building tons of liquidity on the lows. Point of interest open. Point of interest open. This is not looking strong. But maybe it's just a squeeze up, right? Maybe we're actually are that bullish that we're just gonna get this pop up. But then again, oh my, I do see a scenario. Would be so juicy. Would you look at this? At this compression, we lose it, tested it back, and started moving down from there. And what is so interesting about this part is it has never been tested back. I'm gonna remove this. Then I'm gonna draw in this as liquidity. take a line here because this would be absolutely amazing to take out. And when you do have a retail pattern like this, then expect a big push up. And then we're gonna clean off all of the longers to lure in one more time all of those buyers, creating way more liquidity on the lows, and then taking all of that out. That would be a crazy scenario. Let's look locally what is happening here though, because we could front run this, distribute over here already, come here, then take it out. So I'm really curious about this local part. Once again, we have a pretty dead low here. And why is this a dead low? Look at what happened. Price came. We tested this. Did we though? We did not even test it. Okay, just gonna draw it through. Price traded down aggressively, and where is the manipulation right here? If this was a bottom that would have been standing for later on, I would have expected us to take out the low one more time. So everyone that has been taking out, you get that manipulation, those market makers taking out everyone that has been buying to fill up their own orders, to then move towards the upside. But that didn't happen here. It's just building up liquidity, front running this here. So let's see what's happening. Trend is right now down as well. This is support in combination with your breaker. Just this whole support resistance, right? Probably most of the time we have this. If you draw it onto the left, there's more interaction points, and you can clearly see there is. So it's just a normal support resistance. But then again, your trend is a high that make new lows. Yeah, if you never start to break that high, expectancy is still to make new lows. Heavy divergences had formed on Bitcoin daily chart, with RSI one of the reasons we have had this high time frame retracement. I think we have some more downside to Bitcoin till we complete the divergence distribution. I wouldn't per se look at RSI for that. Price action clearly shows what happened here if you do not look at the RSI, but it is of course another confluences. If you have a certain a indicator, or like the Fibonacci, why is the Fibonacci so respected in the game? That is because a lot of people use it, and if a lot of people use certain things, then it's gonna give off more reaction. But that's also a thing that they are gonna manipulate more. Okay, but I agree with you. If we do not get the bullish reaction up from this level that we are right now, then expectancy is this level right here. So lose this, gonna go here, gain this, gonna go over here. Still bearish though, but we have signs. Market makers could be accumulating here to still push price up, and from there we could also see the rotation downwards again. When you have a bottom like this, you have a draw on liquidity. Your draw on liquidity, if you make a beautiful bottom, is just this range high. And from there, price can do, literally anything. Welcome everyone to the stream. If you're new here, make sure to leave a chat. Let's spar about some charts. You can ask a chart request as well. Like the stream, push this content out to more people. What do you think of the order block at 105? How strong do you think that is in correlation to this current block? I think you mean this one, right? I think we should just ram straight through it. Let me check a few different time frames. Because even if you look at the daily, right, this was your structure that brought you up. You tested it back again and you started moving up again. This is really the part that brought you all the way up to new highs. So my strength here would be more, but this is where everyone looks at. So that also makes it interesting to sweep. Have we actually swept this block? We have not. So we could even still do this. There's so much. There we go. I need to remove this. Come on, we need to keep the charts clean, okay? Change this music as well, driving me a bit crazy. Alright. So this could be another scenario. If we do not get price reaction from here, we could definitely see this. If we sweep this block and we do not get a good reaction up, we're probably gonna lose it, and then I'm really thinking about this right here. Because where have they been all scaling in? If they push price up from here. Okay, our volume profile is actually right there. That does make it more relevant to me. Okay. What I do not like is that you did leave open some liquidity here though. The strength from this move is no joke. We tested really aggressively here. Kept moving upwards as well. We never took out that bit. This is the part that brought you to new lows. That's when buyers stepped in, taken over. So what would your demand be? Right here. Now this is definitely something to keep in mind. Because everyone is trying to buy here. And then this could be a little fake out manipulation below here to then push up. Yeah, sure, it's definitely relevant. If you want to talk about in comparison to the current block, all I have to say is this current block is what everyone is looking at. So that also makes it interesting for them to trade below it, create panic, and then still move up. But it would really depends on how price reacts from here. You know, you can have it in the charts 100%, but we still have to see how price reacts from it. That's one thing. But yeah, I agree with you. You can have this in the chart for sure, just because you have this point of control as well. This accumulation, most volume has been right here, so that is relevant. But we'll have to see how price reacts from it. Great. Great block. Well done. I'm gonna go for a few more charts, then I'm also gonna go eat. I've been literally live for an hour and 20 minutes right now. And I can tell my voice needs some hydration. Do a little drink here, but I'm hungry as well, you know? No problem, Esprod. If you have any other questions, then ask them. Would be happy to answer them. Love to spar about price action and market. Because there's pretty much almost a reason for everything that is happening in the market. And I always love to look at that to find out that reason. Cicada, because we did... Yeah, we just, like I said, we went way deeper because of the price action that was developing on Bitcoin and ETH. Still expecting ETH to just continue towards the downside. The same with Bitcoin. It would be weird if we started trading all the way up from here. No, I think this should be taken as well, these lows. Trade towards here. This is what's supposed to bring us towards new highs. We flipped it, so we can expect resistance there as well, and maybe create that lower high for new lows. If there's any other question, then you have to ask me right now, because I think I'm gonna look up one more thing that is right now the most trending coin in CoinMarketCap. I'll have to look at that, see how price action moves there, and then I'm gonna go end the stream, because I have been streaming for a while now, spitting in a lot of knowledge. Let me put it on the screen. Trending coins, IP, market cap, enough market cap. Wait, is that the one? IP, my bad. Can you check XRP? What are your thoughts on the chart? I'm gonna go check it right after this one. I already see this one not really interesting right now. The thing is, if you want to trade up, where are your targets? If you wanted to trade up from here, you had a clear target. If you want to trade up now, you only have this wick here. And this is all a bit sketchy. I only want to look at this local part. Crazy equal lows, leaving this for later. Taking out liquidity on the highs till we have enough liquidity to then start reversing towards our lows. Yeah, I don't see anything interesting here. Possible longs from here. Possible targets, equal highs. Also equal highs. Yeah, this would be actually a great long scenario. Do something like this, take it out, maybe build some more liquidity, take it out, push up, or do something like this. XRP. Don't like the song. Okay, XRP is the last coin. Then I'm gonna end the stream. Daily time frame XRP. Start removing a little bit of this here. I have this in the chart because is this a convincing break? It's definitely not. We went over the all-time highs, traded below it one more time. We tested back. I have the line not drawn correctly. We have not tested that back, okay? But we have tested back the supply that tried to push us up, which we front ran right here. That's why the market took it out and started trading down from there. So it looks like the market is just needed of liquidity. What is the part that brought us up to new all-time highs? It's this huge pullback before we've made new highs. So that would also mean even if price comes all the way here, we are still bullish in terms of market structure wise, and we could still expect upside. But because of these highs, oh man, this is because we also have the same we have on the highs here. We also have on the lows, you have that manipulation of the lows. Also here, beautiful bottom. Don't think you have to return towards that bottom. I think we have to look at it this way. If we hold this, we can trade upwards. But locally, we are down until proven otherwise, alright? This would be a great scenario. If we create a range like this, take out this low, touch our POI, which aligns with our previous structure, and then possible see some reaction towards the upside. Definitely a scenario you want to be looking at. Because what we are doing, since we have taken this, we are leaving open our highs, which indicates we need liquidity from our lows. This could be enough liquidity to get that rotation towards all of the liquidity that we have just built. And that could also be the possible move that's going to bring us higher and maybe even to all-time highs. Because over here we have just made a lower high as well. Locally we didn't get the hunt. If we did get the hunt, it would be more bearish than I am right now. Daily real quick. This is your pullback that brought you down. So if you are going to keep rejecting from this level, you're going to actually draw on a beautiful line. This was supposed to bring you up towards new highs. It failed doing so, so it's going to become resistance. So a breaker block right here. I prefer that than the supply actually. How probable do you think we get the golden pocket on the fib from swing high and major impulse from the swing low? Let's check. Would be this for me. Let's just use this. We could definitely still test it. 100%. Like I said, if we... You know, this is down until proven otherwise. I'm just sketching in a possible scenario that we could look for longs, but it's locally it's still down until proven otherwise. We could even test all the way down here and still move towards all-time highs. Look, if we do start to break below this here, yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen, but if we do, then we would have to spend some time here to gather new orders and push up. But how probable? It's a really realistic scenario. 100%. The scenario I've drawn here could also be this, right? Your shoot below this low could also be towards your golden pocket. Good scenario. Good question, Esprod. Okay. We could front run this low, create a bit more liquidity, reject here, take it out. But what we want to see for most likeliness to move towards all of these highs is that we keep building that trend liquidity on the highs. So reject the high, create liquidity, create liquidity, create liquidity, then take it out. Then you can expect a really fast move towards that liquidity. That would be the dream. Just keep building up those liquidity highs until we have taken our liquidity on the lows. Then we can move towards all of the liquidity that we've been building up. Cool, thanks. That's what I've been looking at on XRP for a bigger reaction to upside on the higher time frame. It's 100% a good point of interest. And it would also align with the scenario I've sketched in here, right? Because what we even could do is take it out, front run your golden pocket, move up a bit, and then do this as well. You would still have your accumulation at the bottom. What is an accumulation? Clearly market makers filling up orders to then push price towards the upside. So 100% valid, mate. We have to look at it locally if we get a reaction though. I think that was everything about XRP, and let's just quickly check the 5 minutes. 15. Could locally be your bottom. Broke above, tested, but you have a bunch of liquidity here, so most of the time when you do have that, you are gonna flush this demand here, because this is what brought you up to new highs. This is what everyone is gonna be playing, so that makes it interesting for them to take them out, equal lows as well, and then get that reaction upside for locally. Have we tested this? Pullback that was supposed to bring you higher, failed doing so. Seller stepped in here, caused us to break structure. Nah, there's definitely a reason to come back there. We're also leaving open our highs, which is great. No market maker sell signal or something yet. So even locally for today, maybe even tomorrow, this could be another scenario. Wait for your local confirmation though. Then we could possibly trade up here and then still take out all of this lows to the left. But these are scalp scenarios, right? I love scalping. Quickly check. ETH is running. Let's go towards its targets. Bitcoin still having trouble. ADA moving deeper. Could still easily take out this. Why is this not running? There we go. Pepe also need to wait. Alright guys, this is the live stream for today. I must say, insane a lot of knowledge spit today. It was good to be live. Cool, thanks. Great stuff. Thanks. We will see you soon, brother. 100%. If you want to be more actively again, be in contact with me on the Discord. Have questions there. You can ask questions anytime. Then I would advise you and everyone that is watching right now to just join the Discord. Okay, the link is pinned in the description, and we just want more souls to be together, like-minded traders, so we can. Why would you trade with yourself or with only yourself, while you can trade with the whole team to take over the market? It's you against the market anyway, so why not trade with a team against the market? It has more advantages. It can only be positive things to come out from there. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. Asprod, thank you for your interaction, brother. Good to see you again. And I will see you all in the next videos, streams, or I'll see you in the Discord, okay? Cage is out.